if the government was building a blockchain solution, like let's say they chose Cardano as the thing to run all the elections, well then you're stockpiling ADA because you want to maintain the fuel to pay for your election system for the next 20 years or 30 years or 50 years. That's a different consideration than a speculative interest. If the government was building a...
That was Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson on a show with David Gokhshtein talking about, hey, what if the government actually used Cardano to run voting? You know, we have the most pro-crypto, pro-blockchain government we've ever had here in the United States. So it only makes sense, especially with the talks of there's a lot of fraud going on in elections. Why not put it on a public ledger to where everyone can see? You keep the privacy, but you can see how many people voted and which way the votes went with protecting people's privacy, and who can do that at scale, who has the partnerships in place, and who has the presidents here. There's a lot, but Charles Hoskinson is on that short list, and we're talking about 244 million potential voters. And if all those people decide, hey, we need ADA, or the government needs ADA to pay for those transaction fees for the people voting, it could be a potentially massive catalyst. Now, obviously, it's not written in stone. I'm not saying this is probably going to happen, but if it does happen, you can't discount Cardano being on that short list, and the thought of it is very exciting. So in this video, I'm going to kind of talk about some metrics and tools on Cardano, some things that are showing that, hey, Cardano ecosystem is growing. We'll also take a look at some short-term price action and price prediction. So let's jump in. This here from Tap Tools. Cardano isn't just holding strong, it is scaling in silence. Over 5.3 million wallets have interacted with the network. More than 100,000 smart contracts have shipped in 2 years. 21 million ADA is staked. Why is that a big number? That's like 60% of ADA's supply is currently staked, liquidly staked, if that's even a word. And yet, most are looking elsewhere. Cardano isn't trying to be loud. It is trying to last. Talk about this all the time. If you want a solid project on solid footing that's not going anywhere, that you can count on, that is decentralized, and if you're willing to wait, you will be rewarded. And well, that project is Cardano, among maybe a handful of other ones like Chainlink. But in today's video, we're talking about Cardano. Let's speak on some price action here. 8 on the 30-minute. Couple of things happening here that are bullish. One, we've come into some bullish divergence on the 30-minute as we are creating lower lows on the price action. And in our Market Cipher B momentum wave, we are creating higher lows. Also on the RSI as well. And so that is a very bullish signal. We take a look, staying on the 30-minute here for ADA. This range we've had since ADA hit a local bottom of around 64 cents back on the 10th of March until now, we have our POC sitting at 73.81 cents. That is where ADA has been trading below for a majority of this time here. Well, actually, it's probably 50-50. But you can see how important this level is, as the last time ADA was above here before seeing that massive spill off with the rest of the markets. This POC was an area of support for ADA. And another area of support up until recently was this value area low, which currently sits around 70.61 cents. That is where ADA had its initial rejection on the way back up. On increased volume, we saw a spill off. That's where we put in our fresh low. And on the way back up, that is a key level we'll be looking out for, which is not too far away, again, at that 70.5 cent level. If we work our way up to the higher time frames, you can see that bullish div on the hourly as well. But I want to zoom into maybe the 6-hour time frame here on ADA. You see our POC, 73.4 cents. That is a key level you want to look at. Now, on the way down, if we do get a little more downside, we have some very key areas here for Cardano in terms of liquidity and where are buyers willing to step in. The first level here is going to be at 64.75 cents, which you saw around 2.6 billion ADA traded. But the big one here, my friends, if we get there, which I don't know if we will, is around 58.3 cents. Over 4.25 billion ADA was traded and bought at that level. And may I remind you that when Cardano did get down to that level, we saw a 2x, a 99% rally out of ADA. So in the short term, we could expect a little more downside, but we're seeing some bullish div on multiple time frames. And it looks like a surefire put in a limit order now to make some money on a scalp trade to use that to add to your Cardano bag. Price level is 67.59 cents. You can go in, put in a limit order, do a 7 to 10x long, have your stop loss below 67 cents flat, around 66.8. Have your stop loss there and look to ride this thing up to initial take profit at your POC at around 73.2 cents. Maybe take 25 to 50% of profits off the table at a 10x leverage. Should be around a 12 to 15% gain. Not too bad when the markets are going down, but look to potentially reverse your position and short Cardano, depending on what it does at that POC, 73.25 cents. If this thing runs, look to cash out the rest of your profits around 77 cents, as that was our swing high coming into the day. Going back to Tuesday of this week. But coming in today, that has been our swing high. That is a key level that we'd expect Cardano to reverse course and see some more downside unless the structure of the entirety of the market changes. That obviously we don't know. But if you like more Cardano content, we have an entire Cardano playlist, or click one of these two videos on your screen and go check out some more Cardano content. Also, come watch our live show Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.